looks like I'm talking about the Vampire King today. Now, for those of you who do not know, the Vampire King is an incredibly powerful entity within the Adventure Time universe and is incredibly influential, especially when it comes to Marceline's character. Now, not much is actually known about him, mainly due to the fact that he has only appeared within a certain number of episodes, 2 of which were flashbacks, and then 1 of which wasn't actually even him. Regardless, we can still work with what we got. Now, it's unknown whether or not he is the first vampire, however, he is at the very least the most ancient out of the ones that we see, and the most powerful at that, considering it took a combination of all of their abilities through Marceline in order to actually even put a dent in him. Now, one thing that should be noted is that there actually is a major difference between pure-blooded vampires and half-blooded vampires. Hunson Abadeer actually lists Marceline as a half-vampire, meaning that there is most likely either another way to become a vampire or vampires appear naturally somehow. Unfortunately, there's not really much to go on in terms of his origin because the secrets of exactly how vampirism works are incredibly obscure and left pretty vague. However, regardless of his origin, one thing is clear. 1,000 years ago, he was an absolute menace who preyed upon entire populations of the remaining humans. You see, originally the vampires were kept at bay due to the fact that the humans' technology was at a much higher degree than how it is now. However, after the Mushroom Bomb, they went to a dark age, which allowed the vampires to immediately go on the offensive with pretty much nothing stopping them from doing so. Due to the fact that pretty much nothing could actually stop them, they would commit absolute war crimes against humanity. In fact, they would be so terrible that Marceline stated that they were so bad that they deserved to be staked over 1,000 times. However, during this time, eventually Marceline would ultimately take up the mantle of a vampire slayer and would actually wipe out a vast majority of the population. Eventually, this would result in the Vampire King going up against her in a 1v1. Despite proving to be her equal, he would ultimately lose the battle in exchange for transforming her into a vampire instead. After returning, we actually get to see more of his actual motivations as well as his own personal goals. The truth of the matter is that he actually did not want to be the Vampire King, nor did he actually even enjoy being it in the first place. It's this additional detail that I feel adds way more life into his character because it actually opens up a large can of worms. Due to this very basic understanding, we now realize that the reason he was fighting was more so out of circumstance rather than actual ambition. He was fighting on the side of the dark simply due to the fact that that is all he had ever known and is exactly where his original origin lies. However, unlike many other antagonists, he actually learns from his previous mistakes, because a good portion of his character is understanding the cycles and how history repeats itself simply due to the fact that people will never live to see the cycle repeat. However, being as ancient as he has seen this play out many times before, and due to the fact that when he came back to life, he had realized that he was now playing a part in the exact same cycle and thus wanted a way out, considering he saw himself as the highest of kings. It is this dilemma that completely made him do a 180 and just abandon the vampires entirely, rejecting who he once was in order to find a more enlightened path compared to what he had done in the past. Whether or not he actually succeeds is more based on interpretation. Considering his essence is still around and he's still somewhat sentient within Marceline's mind, it could be said that history could repeat itself one day. So in order to end these cycles, Marceline must continuously look upon her own actions and learn from her past mistakes and take the lessons that actually come along the way in stride. But in terms of the philosophical stuff, let's go ahead and put that to the side for now due to the fact that I have to talk about his powers and there is a lot to go over. Due to him being literally the strongest of the vampires, he actually has pretty much every single ability under the sun, such as incredible physical strength, heightened senses, telekinesis, as well as telepathy, as well as being able to actually manipulate people's minds, creating perfect illusions that literally only the person affected can see for all of eternity. He has complete control over the weather, as well as water and lightning, and possesses various other forms of energy projection. And though it is implied, he is actually the only one who is absolutely confirmed to have the ability to produce more vampires. Anyway, that's all the official stuff, so let's go into the speculation section, which I have to admit would be incredibly barren because we just don't know a lot about the Vampire King and vampires in general. One theory would actually be about their particular origin due to the fact that we actually don't know where they come from. However, a little theory of mine, and granted this is a very lackluster theory considering I have very little evidence to say, but I believe this to actually be a magical curse. You see, when the Vampire King's essence is removed, one thing that actually will immediately happen was that he took on the form of a black cloud-like structure that was incredibly similar to Bella Noche's construct of magic. Considering that we know that Bella Noche's constructs are literally just the essence of anti-magic, maybe it's possible that vampirism is literally just magical essence being passed down from individual to individual. A little bit of extra evidence for this particular idea would be the fact that those who are actually influenced by the essence actually do kind of lose their minds. The Vampire King even stated this, saying that Marceline was actually beginning to lose her mind after absorbing so much vampiric essence, which we actually know is one of the side effects of magical beings and magic users in general, which is sadness and madness. To 2 traits, which is incredibly common within pretty much every single vampire that we have seen. Anyway, that's all I've got for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, go to my other social media platforms, and if you actually have an idea for a video, be sure to put that down into the comments below. I try to read every single one of them. And if you have an idea on how to make the channel even better, be sure to actually tell me that in the comments as well. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye!